Okay. Hi everyone, it's Deb, and I thought I'd give you an update. Sorry, I'm a little slow getting to a 2-week update. My 2 weeks was Monday, and today is Thursday, and so it's been 17 days since my surgery. It's been back to school week, so it's just been sort of nuts. One of my kids went back last Friday, one went on Monday, and the other one started her first day of 2nd grade today. So I finally have a little bit of quiet time to actually stop and think and make a video about what's been going on for the last couple of weeks. Really, things have gone pretty smooth compared to what I expected. I had some nausea at the beginning, but I never got sick to my stomach. They had a patch for me, and I had nausea medication, which I haven't needed for the past week. The only time I get nauseous in the past week is if I haven't drank enough. And I just sort of have to sit down. I have to set my timer on my phone for every 5 minutes and just take 2 sips every 5 minutes or something. Otherwise, I just don't make any progress on my water. And sometimes I'll forget because I'm busy doing something, and it'll be, more than an hour since I've done liquid, and that seems to just start to make me feel nauseous. Also, if I don't eat anything for too long, I feel yucky. So anyways, I will talk about numbers. I have my little cheat sheet if you wonder why I'm looking down. My heaviest weight was 230, and that was in mid-July. Today is August 23rd. And the day of my pre-op diet started, I was 227, so pretty much my highest weight, like 3 pounds less. And then today my current weight is 211.5. So that's exciting because that's like 18.5 pounds since my highest weight. And I'm excited about that. I'll be, really excited when I get below 200 because I have not seen below 200 in probably 10 years. But I was hovering at 200 to 210 for a really long time, and then popped up over it. So it's nice to be back down to at least where I was for probably 6 years. I was like in the 200 or 210 range. So at least it feels like I'm making progress and that it's real weight. And I don't really notice anything. My clothes don't fit any different. People that know I had the surgery say they've noticed things. They notice it a little bit. But I don't know. I think they're just looking for it and they're trying to make me feel good. So I'm not really watching that. I don't really weigh myself that often. I kind of try to avoid it and try to only do it once a week. I have a pre-op appointment or post-op appointment today. My 2-week checkup is today, this afternoon. So I'm sure they'll weigh me there. So I'm curious to see what their scale says versus what my scale says. I'm planning to weigh myself here right before I go into there so that I can compare the two, so I know, does my scale seem pretty accurate? That's a good thing to do. So anyways, the 211.5 was yesterday. I got brave enough yesterday to step on the scale. Monday, which was 2 weeks, I was at, let's see, I stepped on the scale Monday, and I think I was 214 on Monday. And then I was 211.5 on Wednesday. And I had been 214.5 the week before when I went in for a visit with my primary care doctor, which was like the Wednesday before. So I had sort of been 214 for probably more than a week, and then I must have just gone boom and dropped to 11.5. So that was kind of nice that I dropped a little bit there. So anyways, I talked about the nausea and the water and having to set my clock. I had an episode yesterday where I went to Walmart. It's kind of my first time going to shop for Walmart. I went with my youngest daughter, and we just needed to get snacks and stuff for school. And I was doing great. I felt really good. I had a lot of energy until about halfway through, and then I just sort of hit a wall. I have this spot on my stomach, which is kind of right above my belly button on the right side, where my biggest incision is. I think it's where they took the stomach out, and I know it's where they had my drain, and it's more of an inch versus the other 4 are just tiny, and I don't even notice those. But that one, there must be an internal stitch that just pulls like gravity pain. When I stand up, I just feel it pull down. And I also have trouble sleeping on my right side at night, which is kind of a bummer. I really like it. I tend to sleep on my back most of the time, but then when I wake up, I'll shift and I'll sleep on one side, and then I'll shift. And it's like my hips and my back want to shift to the right side, and go back and forth between my right side and my back. And I go on my right side, and this gravity pain in my stomach hurts. Even if I put a pillow under it, it just pulls funny, and it hurts and wakes me up. So that's kind of frustrating. And it's also frustrating for walking, because when I walk is when that gravity pain gets worse. And it's just been worse, more worse in the last couple of days. So I'm thinking there's some kind of a stitch and things are relaxing and it's just pulling in the wrong place, and hopefully that will improve over time. I don't know. I'm going to ask him about it today and make sure it's just some little normal doodad thing and not something I should worry about. But what am I eating now? Mostly I like the protein. I like these Premier proteins. They're easy and they have 30 grams of protein. I've been drinking about 2 of these a day. I was on pureed foods for the first 2 weeks after surgery, and then on Monday I could go to soft foods, so anything I can kind of mush with a fork. And then no raw vegetables yet, and I can have things like melons, I think I can have, and bananas I think I can have. Otherwise I have to have cooked. It has to be cooked vegetables. And nothing with skins like, peel, like, berries yet, because the skins are a little bit hard to digest. So I had some cantaloupe last night, and that was good. I just sort of chewed it a lot and went really slow. That was kind of my first cantaloupe, and that went well. Everything's pretty much agreed with me. I haven't had anything that like came back up or just screamed at me. I tend to go slow the first time I eat something new. But even during the pureed stage, I would do things like that Laughing Cow cheese that's really soft. I had a salt craving all the time. I was just craving something that was salty and not liquid. So I would get that little Laughing Cow cheese that's really soft, like the creamy Swiss. I'm not even a Swiss person, but I love this cheese. It's just perfect little wedge. And it's 35 calories and like 2 grams of protein and 1 gram of fat. So it's a good little snack, and it kind of fills my need to eat something salty that's not a liquid. So I just sort of, sogged it up in my mouth until it was liquid before I swallowed it. And I even had a little bit of cottage cheese that first couple of weeks. And like I said, I just chewed it so much that it turned into a puree before I swallowed it. I just felt like my mouth needed something to do. And I did it a little bit at a time at first just to make sure it wouldn't disagree with me, and it was fine. And I measure out like 1/4 of a cup. I've never gone more than 1/4 of a cup on at a time, except for something maybe like pudding. I don't know if the pudding cups are probably a little more than 1/4 cup. But even there, if I go too fast, it feels like it just sits there. So I got to, make sure it gets a chance to kind of move down a little bit. But I can take, decent sized swallows now. So if I set my timer for every 5 minutes and take 2 decent swallows every 5 minutes, then I pretty much in a couple of hours feel like I get caught up again. So if I get nauseous, then I'll feel better. Let's see, what else am I eating? I'm eating hard-boiled eggs, tuna, and egg salad. That was good, mixed together with just like a tablespoon of mayonnaise just to have a little moisture in there. That tasted pretty good. Just, again, like 1/4 cup at a time. Cottage cheese. I had Munster cheese last night, like the slices of Munster cheese, the really thin ones, and I was able to eat 2. Might have been a little more. Maybe I should have like 1.5. It's high in fat, but it has a good amount of protein and no carbs. So it's one of those things, if you're trying to balance your diet and get just a little bit of fat and you want something different to eat, I thought that tasted really good. And I had some tilapia, which is a really soft fish. Ate about half of one of those separate frozen ones that you can get at Walmart, and that tasted pretty good, and it went down okay. So I haven't had anything that disagreed with me. I just have had a couple of things I ate, I ate a little too much of, mostly things like pudding, because it feels like it's a liquid, so it should be going down as fast as a liquid, but it doesn't, and all of a sudden I go, oh, wait a minute, it's kind of sitting here. And then you can almost kind of feel it sitting there, moving its way down. But nothing has made me sick to my stomach. I haven't had any nausea or vomiting or anything like that. So that's been good. Really the only issue I've had is this stitch in my side that I think is just gravity pain from must be an internal suture or something that's not dissolved yet. And then just the fatigue occasionally. But really I have had pretty decent energy. I think when I hit a wall, it's more just my body needs to sit. and my brain needs to just shut down for a little while, and I need to just keep drinking water, 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 water. I had that one night. I did so much on Monday because I was trying to get this program for the high school gymnastics team that my older daughter is in. I do a program, it's a fundraiser. We get all kinds of, I have 35 advertisers in there, and we put pictures of all the girls, and they all write a little something. And so it's a pretty big project to pull together, and tryouts was last week, so I really didn't have all my pieces until last weekend, so I was really scrambling, and Monday was the day I was like bringing it to a couple people to proof. So I went from one place to the other place, and I really hadn't done that since I had my surgery because I had been home pretty much unless I had an appointment like one day. And I went from thing to thing, and I did throw like a cheese stick in my purse, like those, you know, just the what do you call them, string cheese, and those are pretty good, and those agree with me. And those are great to throw in your, I can throw them in my purse, they're going to last all day. But if I'm going to be gone for a few hours and I want to have something to nibble on besides just a protein shake. But I noticed, because I went back and forth and went to an appointment and went to a, you know, she had an assessment, that my daughter had an assessment at school so they can, you know, for a couple hours, and then I went to swimming lessons, and then I had a booster club meeting in the evening. So it was just a long day, and when I got home that night I really hit a wall, and it was one of those sit there, and I basically stayed up until midnight just so I could get 2 of these, which are, I think they're 16 ounces. It's Herbalife. It's an old water bottle. I have like 6 of these from a long time ago when I got their protein shakes, but they have soy protein, so I'm kind of not using them anymore. But I like their bottles because they close and they don't leak, and they screw on and they clean up real easy, and they hold 16 ounces. So I, you know, try to, whenever I get behind on fluids, I try to sit down and at least drink one full one of these. Sometimes it's hard to tell if I'm getting what I'm getting exactly, because I'll get halfway through and decide it's too warm, and I'll add more ice to fill up the whole thing. So I think I'm getting 64 ounces, but sometimes it's hard to tell because I keep adding and adding ice to keep it cold, because cold just seems to taste the best, and I don't like any flavoring in there. That's just annoying. And especially if it gets warm at all, and I just want to keep sipping. Vitamins, I have my little vitamin container here, and I have my whole day's worth right here, so if I run in the car, I can throw it in my purse. And I have my 4 of these. I take 2 in the morning of the calcium. They're just little wafers. They taste kind of like a mild Smartie. And then these are a little berry tasting, but they're not that bad. They were my vitamin. I take those like the middle of the day with food, so because it kind of settles better with food, and I don't compete with my calcium. And then I take 2 more of these again in the evening. And I have I've been taking Prilosec over the counter twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. And then I take a B12 in the morning that just sort of dissolves on my tongue. I'm going to start taking D3 because that was recommended that I take D3. I might get a calcium D3 combined. I think Bariatric Advantage sells a chewable that is a calcium with a D3 in it also quite a bit. So I may do that just so I can kind of not have quite so many pills to keep track of. And those D3 pills are like these huge monster horse pills, and I'm not sure they're going to go. I have a hard time swallowing. I mean, luckily the what do you call it? Prilosec is this little teeny pill, and if I take any of my pain pills, they're just teeny little pills, and the Tylenol goes down. But Tylenol hasn't helped at all. They got me this Tramarol, Ultram, I think is what the brand name, and then that Tramarol is the generic. And because I was having muscle pains and I can't take ibuprofen, I don't know. He suggests that I minimize it for life, basically. But at least for now, eventually I might be able to take it. But for now, I'm not gonna question that. But I usually take Motrin to kind of, if I have like muscle cramps from overdoing it. And I haven't noticed if the Ultram is really doing anything much. I think it does help my little stitch pain. So, like I took it this morning before I when I got up, hoping that by the time I had to bring my daughter to school, it would be better. So anyways, that's what I'm up to right now. I'm running out of time. I don't want to make this too long. I just wanted to give everybody an update and tell them I'm doing great. And I will let you know. I'll try to keep it a weekly update if I can, or when something just strikes me that I want to talk about. Talk to you later. Bye.